Hey ballers, it's Horton here, and I recently received the 2017 HOVTX, which will be a review ski that I'll be reviewing in the near future. You may have seen the unboxing video of this. I put that up previously. With this gorgeous ski, I received another box, and I believe what I'm going to find in here is the HO Syndicate Hardshell system, which will fit perfectly on this beautiful VTX. So just wanted to show this thing off again because it's a good looking ski. I'm looking forward to it. If it skis anything like it looks, we're going to run some balls on this baby. So check back in for that news. But that brings us to the other box, which is definitely not a ski. Lucky Knife, Weapons Edge, Jeff Gastra, thank you, thank you. So, let's see what we get here before I start rambling away. All right, in my box we have a box. Thank you, HO Sports. Just kidding. So what we have here is the package, the retail packaging for the Syndicate boot. And so let's take a look again here again. We have the liner, and I'll just stop right now and talk about the liner first. Having spoken to Dave Wingerter, VP of everything at HO, and some of the people on his team, they're really adamant that this liner is special. So let's look at it for a minute. It is what they call a lasted liner. What exactly does that mean? Sorry, Dave, I don't know, man. But I've actually stuck my foot in one of these before and heat molded it, and it fits beautifully. It's the heat moldable foam, kind of similar to you see with some other products out there, but they've kind of gone an extra step. I don't, this typical thing, you hear this from me on all my videos. I don't think you can see this on the video, but there are there's some shape, there's some volume in the heel of this to kind of wrap around your Achilles tendon. And then there's some reinforcement right here, because if you're going to ski as much as I'm going to in this, I'm going to ski 200 and 250 sets a year, I'm going to wear on my equipment. It's just the reality of skiing a lot. And so they've reinforced this, so this liner is going to last me as long as I would expect. And so I'll say it again, I've already skied in this liner, and it's extremely comfortable, it fits well, it fits the shell. They did a really good job, and I think this liner is the kind of attention to detail that sets the HO product apart from some of its competitors. Before I get to the boot, let's do talk about the plate. So, standard hole pattern, it's going to fit your HO skis, it's going to fit the other skis on the market. This is, of course, specifically a front binding. To the best of my knowledge, nobody has taken this system and applied it to a back binding, and I actually wouldn't recommend doing it anyway. So, you're going to need to find, HO has a couple of products that will fit as a back binding on this, but so this is your front binding. It is a 3D printed mate to the bottom of the shell. So when you go back historically, you see a lot of pro skiers skiing on the other kinds of hardshell products, and they're kind of famous for taking a bunch of Bondo and building up underneath the boot. So when the boot sits on the plate, it's a perfect mate. Well, instead of doing that, HO said, no, stop. We're going to do it right to begin with, and so they got the CAD model at the bottom of the boot, I'm assuming, but yeah, they got the CAD model at the bottom of the boot, and then they built up this structure out of plastic, which sits on the plate, and it's permanently there, so when I get the boot out of the box in just a minute, and it sits down here, it's going to mate perfectly. And then the toe hoop, this isn't really new technology, although this toe hoop is nice. Obviously, this is similar to the other products that use the Silvretta release. There's a couple on the market. This is good looking stuff. All right, so there is the plate, which is going to fit on my beautiful new ski. And that brings us to the boot. So, you know, as we talk about hardshell products, probably the component that gets overlooked the most is the boot itself. I know there's a number of different release mechanisms and methods, and people are using different ways for safety, but the actual shell itself, to me, performance-wise, makes a difference. So HO's made a point to get a boot that is relatively pliable up in this upper cuff. You don't want a boot that is the stiffest thing you can possibly get. This is a front boot, but that really applies even more to your back boot. So if you're in another system and you're just watching this video for fun and you don't know why your skiing is ragged, but your back boot is the stiffest thing you can get, my guess is your back boot is too stiff. And some front boot stiffness is, it really needs to be just right. So this is, they've gone through the trouble and they've found something that's got some give. I think that's important. I think that's really good. They've also gone with a buckle system, which I think is superior to what I've seen or anything else I've owned previously. Let's just say that. So they're aluminum buckles, and it fits in, I don't really know the correct name of all these parts, but that little pin fits in the ratchet and it closes up. And that's not the most amazing thing ever, although that's going to make it consistent. What is super cool to me is that this here is on a screw, and you can tighten or loosen it to get just exactly the tightness or looseness you want. And then every time you put it on here, if you always go to the same ratchet spot, and there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 choices. If you always go to, that's not true, there's 3. Well, there's 4. Okay. For me, if I always go to the middle one, and that's the feeling I want, when I close this, my boot tightness is exactly the same as it was the last ride, and the ride before that, and the ride before that. And, you know, as you look across hardshell bindings, that's not always true. So that's going to be the same on all 3 of these. In fact, this top one needs a little adjustment because it's set for somebody with a Sasquatch foot. And then this top one, first time I saw this, just threw me for a loop. And I think they got this. I know this is more common in motorcycle boots, but you kind of pull this out, and this piece comes all the way out, so it's easier to get in. So when you go to get the top buckle on, it slides in there and snaps down. And so you're going to, at some point, or when you first start using the boot, you're going to find your tightness you want, and you're going to adjust it over here. So there's a ratchet over here, and this then becomes solid. And then when you stick your foot in there, slide it in, good to go. So again, it's all that explanation I just gave. If you really want the short version of it, it's consistency. Every time you put this boot on, it's going to be the same tightness. And it doesn't sound like a big deal, but if your boot is tighter or looser from one ride to the next, that really is going to change the way your ski is going to react to you and the way you're going to react to your ski. And if it's consistent every time, you're going to ski better. So let's do the mating. Mating. Can I say that? I'm going to say that. The mating. Sure, they're mating. I don't know which one's the husband and which one's the wife, but you get the idea. So this fits right in here, and then we open up the Silvretta piece, and it's not on a ski, so we're going to see if it's going to challenge me. Of course it is. That's not bad. And so there you have it. HO Syndicate Hardshell. I think in terms of big company binding systems, this is the hottest thing going. I think this is fantastic. I'm looking forward to ski on it. This is my new ride. I'm going to review it as much as I review bindings, and then I'm probably going to ski on this. And if I had an extra one, I'd probably put it on my trick ski. I'm not going to trick. That's ridiculous. Just forget I said that. If I were going to trick this year, I would probably put this on my trick ski. So, awesome. All right, guys. HO Syndicate Hardshell. Please get it from Performance. Perfski.com. Check it out. Also, check out the HO. Is that right side up or upside down? I think it probably goes this way. Also, check out the HO VTX. Beautiful ski. The review will be coming. Highly anticipated. Some thought went into this ski. I mean, thought goes into every ski, but I'm excited about this one. Maybe more than any HO in a long time. So give it a try. Get yourself some new gear, and thanks for visiting Ball of Spray.